Hi everybody, good evening and welcome to the Quest for Success Limited webinar, an introduction to NLP. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. So good evening to all of my friends and people who are watching in the UK, and Kalispera to everybody who's joining us from Athens and from Greece, because there are quite a lot of you on the call today. So Kalispera, and I hope you've had a lovely day. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for showing an interest in NLP. So I guess you've arrived here because you're curious, and it's a good thing to be curious. And maybe you've heard of NLP before, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've heard other people talking about it. And maybe you're just curious to see what this strange thing is that everybody seems to be talking about. And this thing that everybody says can change everything or transform everything for you. So I guess it's pretty interesting when you hear it phrased like that. And I think you probably need to know a little bit more detail before you know that learning NLP is something that you would actually value and you could put to practical use every day of your life. So I'm glad you've decided to listen and watch and find out a bit more about NLP, because I'm very aware that when you go on the internet and you search for NLP, or maybe you search for an NLP training, there is so much information out there. There are so many different companies who entwine and weave NLP into their service offerings. So often it's very confusing to know what NLP really is. It's kind of covered in a fog, isn't it? And what I'd like to do for you tonight is really part that fog and give you some clarity around what NLP actually is and how it can be put to very practical use on a daily basis. So my name's Christine Dawson and my company is Quest for Success Limited, and I train and coach with NLP and timeline therapy and hypnosis. And I work right here in the UK, and I'm based in Manchester. And I also do a lot of work in Greece, in Athens. I coach people via Skype and this Zoom platform that you're using now, which works very well, by the way. And I come once a year to Athens to train the NLP practitioner certification training. So wherever you are in the world, there's some NLP that you can access really easily. I've been coaching and training with NLP for the past 10 years. And for those 10 years, I've enjoyed every single moment. Work no longer feels like work. And it was my journey, my personal journey through NLP, that caused me to believe in myself enough to give up my, frankly, very well paid day job and to set up my own company. And without that learning from NLP and without what it did for me in terms of my empowerment and my self-belief, I would never have taken that step, and I would probably be in a job that I really didn't enjoy now. Oh, and it makes me shudder to think about having done that. That would have been terrible. But I'm sure I would if I hadn't have found NLP. So my journey started as yours would, by taking an NLP practitioner training. And then I progressed to master practitioner and to trainer. And I'm still going. I love learning. And I'm now in a master trainer program, 3 years into the 5-year program. So the learning never stops, which I'm eternally grateful for. So let's talk about NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. So what is Neuro-Linguistic Programming? Well, here's the simple, clear version. It's the study of what we do in our heads when we create success. It's how we structure our thinking in our mind when we do things really successfully. It's both an art and a science. And it shows us how to positively change human behaviour really quickly and, more importantly, really easily. That's right, NLP is easy. I really want you to get that early on in our conversation. NLP is easy and it's there for everybody. You don't need to have a background in psychology or psychiatry or coaching. It's for everybody and it is easy to learn. So it shows us how to positively change human behaviour rapidly and easily with permanent results. Now that's an exciting prospect, isn't it? Because let's face it, none of us are perfect. We all have something that we'd really like to change about ourselves. Maybe it's a little strategy that doesn't work, or a habit that we have that we don't really like. Or maybe we're carrying with us a lot of negative emotion from the past. Or maybe we have limiting beliefs about ourselves that hold us back. We all have something that we could do even better, that we could change. And with a change in thinking, you can change your reality. And when you change your reality, you can change your life. And I know it sounds really cliched. There are so many things out there that say they're life-changing and transformative. And you think, well, what does that really mean? And with NLP, it means getting what you want in life. So whatever it is that you dream about, your goals, whatever it is that you'd really like in your life, what you'd like to be doing, who you'd like to be with, what you'd like to create in your life, that's what NLP helps you do. It helps you think in a way that allows you to realize your goals. It's about modeling excellence. And that's where NLP came from. NLP has a great deal of history. It was conceived of in the 1970s. So it's been around a long, long time, which is a testament to how well it works. Because if it didn't work and it wasn't useful, it wouldn't still be around. It wouldn't have lasted from the 1970s till now, and people wouldn't still be learning it if it wasn't really, really useful. And NLP was created through a modelling process. People who did things with real excellence back in the day, they were modelled. And then that allowed the creators of NLP to come up with some processes and techniques and ways of thinking that allow them to take that excellence from one person and install it in another really, really easily. So NLP is about modelling excellence. So just imagine that for a moment. Imagine that. Imagine being able to see, hear, feel someone do something really, really well and thinking, oh, I wish I could do that well. I wish I could be that excellent. And knowing how to take the essential elements of that person's thinking and install them in yourself. That's exactly what you can do with NLP. So it's a model of excellence. It's a way of thinking. So why on earth would you want to learn NLP? Well, over the 10 years that I've been training NLP, I've noticed what people are learning, for what purpose they're learning, and what they take away from the training courses. And it really works on two levels. So when you take an NLP coach practitioner training, you get two main things. First of all, you get to learn NLP. So you get to learn a whole new skill set and a whole lot of new tools that you can apply to your daily life, to your work, to your social life, to education, to your learning, to your personal development, even to your sporting activities. So you learn NLP and you take that into your daily lives. So here are some examples of what people take from the trainings when they learn NLP. Firstly, the ability to become a master communicator. So how to communicate really well and really, really elegantly and effectively. So to have all of your communication understood at the right level each and every time you communicate, whether that be in the spoken word or written word. Choosing your words elegantly so that you can be a really effective communicator. And that then allows you to be very influential. Once you're communicating with excellence, you become influential in your environment, whatever context you're working in. It also allows you to negotiate very, very elegantly, to come out with win-win solutions rapidly and precisely. So becoming a master of negotiation. And you can also broker negotiations and mediate using NLP skills, because it's all about communication. So NLP can be really, really easily inserted into any of your environments where people are involved. Because wherever people are involved, it means communication needs to happen, and it needs to happen well. The art of selling. We are all in sales. And I know that sounds a bit strange. We are. So even if you're not on a direct sales team selling a product or a service, you're still selling, because you're selling concepts, you're selling ideas. Even if it's only selling bedtime to your children, you're always selling some concept from yourself, outside of yourself. And so NLP allows you to structure that process of selling concepts, or indeed products and services, really, really easily. Because selling is simply an exchange of energy. A product, a service, an idea for another product, service, idea, or indeed money. Money is indeed just an exchange of energy. So the art of selling is important. NLP also allows you to hear between the lines. This means discovering what people really mean when they communicate with you. When people communicate, they give you what we call their surface structure of their language. And learning NLP allows you to look behind that, to the deeper structure of their language, so that you can discover what people really mean and what they're really trying to tell you. Essential if you're a coach or a manager or a leader. Relationship building. NLP shows us how to build strong, productive and long-lasting relationships, be them personal relationships or business relationships or social relationships. How to construct nice, strong relationships that last. NLP and coaching go hand in hand, as do NLP and therapy. So by learning NLP, you can expand your coaching or therapeutic toolkits exponentially, or you can start up a whole new coaching or therapy business. That's right. When you take the NLP practitioner training, it gives you everything you need to set up a whole new business immediately, the very next day you leave, and for a very low cost for a business startup. NLP is about how to create business success. So how to make your business more profitable. Because at the end of the day, business is people. Business is the people in your company, and it's the people who buy from you, your stakeholders, your clients, your customers. And all of that involves communication. So the more successful your communication and the way you behave around people and the way you build rapport with them is all about how to enhance your bottom line, how to make more money at the end of the day. So it's about generating business success. It also shows you how to think differently. And when you think differently, you begin to be a better problem solver, become more innovative, are more likely to think of creative solutions that nobody else thinks of. And that can really push you forward in your business because you think differently to everybody else. And you will be the go-to person when people want a solution to their problems that's thought of creatively and innovatively. And once you can think differently, you can make decisions really effectively. By having clarity of thought and neutrality of emotional content, you can make really effective decisions. And that's important in all areas of your life, making nice, clear decisions. Any leader or manager really needs to know NLP because they need to know how to lead and manage other people. And to do this, you have to understand other people. You have to understand how their psychology is working so that you can communicate with each and every one of them on an individual basis and know how to motivate them, and know how to get the most out of them, know how to empower them, and how to make sure that they really enjoy their work because they're doing what they want to do in the way that they want to do it. It's about holistic health and well-being. It's about getting rid of all of your negative emotions and limiting beliefs that can cause stress and indeed depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all of these things that are generated at the bottom line by fear. Once you release all these elements, you can be really healthy and really well, holistically, mind and body. And NLP is all about generating that. And of course, when you have all these new skills, you can earn more, you can make more money. And I know that money's not the main motivator for most people. We all just want to fulfill our potential. That's the important thing. But money's nice, and money gets us some of the things that we want in life. And so if you're not earning the amount of money that you want to earn, then you need to do something differently. And learning NLP will show you how to think differently about money and how to earn more of it. So people learn and upskill in their tools and their thinking. They learn NLP, but also they get a whole load of personal development out of it as well. Because when you learn NLP in a face-to-face training, you get to do lots and lots of practical exercises. So the theoretical learning is done beforehand. The actual face-to-face training is all about practical use. And so you can work on yourself throughout the whole 8 days of the training. So you get 8 days of free coaching at the end of the day. So what do people take away on a personal point of view? Well, they create total self-belief. They leave the training with total self-belief, and that works across all areas of their lives. They become extremely confident and they feel empowered. And empowerment is very important in NLP. NLP is all about being empowered and taking control of your own life and your own thinking and your own results. They become motivated and they resolve and complete anything in the past which for them is still incomplete. Because anything in your past that is still incomplete is taking your energy at the unconscious level. So resolving and completing the past is very important. You also have the opportunity to resolve your internal conflicts. Learning how to control your emotional content. So how to control your emotions in the moment and be in the most resourceful state for you all of the time. NLP allows us to change our unwanted behaviours. So if you have little behaviours that you really don't like, then NLP allows you to change them and change them permanently and change them easily. Thinking with NLP changes your reality. So whatever you thought your world was, if you're not content with the world that you have and that you consider to be your reality, if you change the way you think about it, you change what you perceive as reality. You can learn how to work out the strategies you have for doing all of your behaviours and removing all the unhelpful ones that don't really get you to where you want to be. They give you energy to create success and total health and well-being in mind and body. Learning NLP helps you to fulfill your potential and to create the future that you want. And when you fulfill your potential and you have control over your life and you have really solid plans for getting your goals and you make them happen, that's when you create happiness. When we fulfill our potential, we are happy. And it's realizing that happiness is a choice. We can choose to be happy right now or not. Because many of us attach happiness to things outside of ourselves. I'll be happy when I have that new job, or I'll be happy when I have that new car, or that house, or that new outfit, or when I'm with that person that I want to be with. But you know what? When you get those things, you just set your eyes on something else, and I'll be happy when I get that. And so you keep pushing happiness away from yourself. And NLP allows us to finally realize that happiness is a choice, and it's something that we can choose to have right now. So here's the picture of neuro-linguistic programming at the practitioner level, which is the first stage that you learn. So what we have is language. Language means communicating effectively. And in NLP, we develop something called rapport. And rapport is something that you hear thrown around a lot, and very few people actually know how to build rapport very effectively, how to know when they've got it, and how to utilize it. And in NLP, rapport is always all about developing flexibility. So flexibility in your behavior and in your language. NLP is also about your outcomes, knowing what you want. It's very, very important to know what you want, because otherwise you just meander around and you might get a bit of what you want and a bit of what you don't want, but you never really know when you've got to where you want to be because you never set a goal to get there in the first place. So it's about knowing what you want. It's also about sensory acuity, and that's about knowing if you're getting what you want. So it's noticing when you're getting what you want and making the most of every opportunity that comes your way. NLP is about changing internal processes so that we can be more productive in our strategies. And our strategies control everything we do, everything, all of our behaviours. And it's also about changing our internal state, how we feel, the emotions that we feel on a moment-to-moment basis. And some of the techniques that we use to help understand our internal state and then to get in control of it are called submodalities and anchoring. So all of this picture comes together to form NLP at practitioner level. And this is about a quarter of the entire body of knowledge that's there at the moment, because it's always developing and it's always getting bigger and bigger, of NLP. So I'm going to share with you a few themes of NLP just to get you started in your thinking. We're going to talk about empowerment, very, very important, and it's what we strive for during the practitioner training to get you empowered. We're going to talk about perception is projection, beliefs, and the responsibility for change. So here's a little bit of learning for you. Let's learn a bit of NLP. Let's think about empowerment first. Now, in this equation, we have two sides. One is called cause and one is called effect. Now, when we are at what we call at effect of our lives, then we have reasons, and let's face it, excuses, as to why our life isn't the way we want it. And let's face it, we've all been there. And you could be at effect through different contexts of your life. So we have reasons and excuses as to why our life isn't the way we would like it to be. And those reasons and excuses are all outside of ourselves. So my life isn't the way I wanted it because, and then you place the responsibility on someone or something else. Like, it's not the way I want it because of my family, because I have children, because of my husband, because of my wife, because of my mother, because of my father, because of my boss, because of the company I work for, because of my job, because of the government, because of the state of the country, because of what's happening politically. We just make reasons and excuses and we attach them to someone or something else. And the moment we do that, we give away our personal power. Because if everything else is someone else's or something else's fault and responsibility, then we've got no control over it. So you hand your personal power and your control over your life to someone or something outside of yourself. So to become empowered, we seek to come to the cause side of the equation, and this is where we get our results. So this means moving from effect over to cause to generate the results that we want. And this gives us empowerment. Because if we bring the responsibility back inside, then we become in control of it, in control of our lives. And then we can make choices and decisions that will take us forward towards our results. And that's empowerment. That's taking your personal power back. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about blaming yourself for why your life isn't how you wanted it. No. It's not about blame. It's simply because your life is the way it is because of your conscious and unconscious choices and decisions that you've made to date. So it's not about blame, it's just about taking responsibility back to yourself. And I bet you're thinking, well, I can't change what the government's doing. I can't change the way the financial economy is working. No, you're right, you can't. What you can change is how you personally respond to it. And that's what I mean by empowerment, the way you respond to the world around you. So ask yourself this question, which side are you on? And do you change sides depending on context? And what will it take to bring you to cause and have you responsible for your results once more? Let's have a look at how we process our reality. And this is the NLP model of communication, which provides you with a really nice foundation to understand how NLP works when we use it practically. So outside of you, things are happening. You have your environment, lots of events happening outside of you. And all that information of your environment comes into your neurology through your 5 senses, your sight, your hearing, your sense of touch, smell and taste. And there we have visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory and gustatory senses. And that information is massive. It's coming into your neurology at something around the order of 12 million bits per second. And that's a huge amount of information. And of course, you can't consciously process that much information. And so your unconscious mind takes over and it starts to filter. So what it does is some of that information it deletes, some of it will distort, and some of it will generalize so that it fits your model of the world. So it takes that 12 million bits of information and it puts it through your own personal filtering process. And that happens at the unconscious level. And it's happening outside of your conscious awareness every minute of every day that you are conscious. And so your unconscious mind is very, very busy, and it's very quick. So out of that filtering process, we end up with our own internal representation of our environment. And that's made up of around 134 bits per second. 12 million to 134. That is a big reduction, less than 0.1%. Wow. So your reality, your concept of reality, is made up of less than 0.1% of what is actually around you in your environment. Ooh, a bit heavy for a Thursday evening. So this is how we're filtering, and everybody does it in a different way. And this is why everybody has a different concept of what reality is, because we all filter differently according to our values, our beliefs, our attitudes, our memories, our experiences. Everything that has made you you over the years contributes to your filtering process. So your internal representation that you end up with controls your emotions. And that's what we mean by state in NLP, your emotional state. So happy feeling, sad feeling, fearful feeling, joyful feeling. All of these emotions are created by our internal representations. And of course, how we feel emotionally then affects our body, our physiology. So you know yourself, when you're really happy, your body feels very different than when you're really sad. Our physiology then enhances our state, which then affects our internal representation, and we get into this feedback loop. And then all of that produces our external behaviour. And this is simply why everybody thinks and feels and behaves differently, because we're all choosing the different 134 bits of information to work with. So next time somebody disagrees with you, just bear this in mind. They've just filtered differently, and that's why they have a different view of the world. So our internal representations, our experiences, which are brought to us through visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory and gustatory channels, then have an additional element. And it's what we call our auditory digital. It's our self-talk. The stories you tell yourself in your mind that you then convince yourself are true. These are the words we use to label our experiences. And as soon as we've put language to our experiences, then we make them our reality. So our words don't describe our environment, they create our environment. So our filtering process is very important to how we actually begin to use our language and create our reality. Here are a couple of really nice little quotes that project forward. When you focus on what you want, you have a really positive internal representation. Then the right emotional state, the right physiology, and the right behaviour follows. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's attributed to Henry Ford. I'm sure you've heard that one before. And here's one from Michael Caine, an actor. I have a policy. I never listen to anyone explain why they can't do something, because he didn't want to be convinced by them. And that's very important in today's world. The more you listen to people tell you all the doom and gloom of why the world isn't like it should be and why you can't have what you want, then the more you're in danger of adopting their beliefs as your own and integrating that into your own neurology. You need to be in charge of your focus, and when you're in charge of your focus, you're in charge of your results. Think of it this way: energy flows where your attention goes. So if you're focusing on what you don't want to happen, which we all do sometimes, then that's where your energy goes, and you create what you don't want. If you focus on what you do want, then that's where your energy goes, and that's what you create. Here's a quote from Tad James, and Tad James is the creator of the school of NLP that I teach, the American Board of NLP. We are caring people, and you also need to know that we do not care about your excuses for not having your life the way you want it. We invite you to give up arguing for your limitations. So it's all about focusing on what you want, because perception is projection. 2 million bits of information go in, and we process with 134. So whatever it is that you see as your reality outside of yourself, that has come from you. Another bit of a mind twister for a Thursday evening. It's impossible for you to notice something in somebody else that hasn't come from within you, because you have processed it. You have noticed it and made it part of your reality and put your own labels on it. So anything you notice in somebody else has come from you. So just think about that next time you're communicating with somebody and they're different to you. We also think about beliefs. Now, here's the thing about beliefs. Beliefs are not true. They're constructs around which we organise our behaviour. So our beliefs are held at the unconscious level. And our beliefs are very, very powerful because they organise our behaviour. So we each behave as if our beliefs were true. And for this reason, all our beliefs come true. For beliefs, whether empowering or self-limiting, are self-fulfilling prophecies. So that means if you have a limiting belief about yourself, you behave as if that limiting belief was true. So if you have the belief, let's say, I'm not good enough, then that's how you behave. And of course, then you produce that prophecy. You're not good enough, because your behaviour will follow that pattern. And the converse works as well. If you have an empowering belief that I can do anything, I am really, really powerful person, that's what your unconscious mind will construct your behaviour around. And of course, then you fulfill that prophecy of being totally good enough and really empowered. So what we believe about ourselves and about the world around us is really important because it directly affects our behaviour. Now in NLP, we have some really beautiful ways, very effective and gentle ways of pulling out these limiting beliefs and then removing them, getting rid of them completely, so you no longer have to behave under the confines of a limiting belief. So imagine that, if you got rid of all of your limiting beliefs, wow, who would you be then? What would that make you? It would make you really empowered and really, really capable. So removing our limiting beliefs. And of course, finally, our final theme is the responsibility for change. And NLP has us notice that only you can make the changes that you want to make. Nobody else can do it for you. Only you can do that. And you can use NLP as the guiding beacon to light your way. Your NLP trainer becomes your compass, guiding your bearings, how to move forward and make those changes that you want to make. Because NLP is an instruction manual for your mind. It shows you how to take control of your thinking. And therefore, once you understand your thinking, you control your thinking, you can change that thinking and then think on purpose. So you can think in a way that makes you resourceful and effective across every single element of your life. So I'd like to share with you some of the principles for success. Some of the things you can start to think about that will put you on the path towards success. And the first is knowing what you want. If you don't know your outcome, how are you ever going to get there? You'll just end up just drifting through life and never really getting to the end point that you want to get to. So knowing your outcome is very important. It's also really important that you take action. It's okay putting great thoughts and projecting really positive projections out into the universe. If you're not doing something about it, then it's not going to happen. You must take action. So every day, this is your challenge. Every day, take one little step, do one little thing that allows you to get one step closer to your goals. Take action. Have sensory acuity. You'll remember that this is about noticing opportunities and knowing when you're getting what you want. Imagine if you actually got what you want and never even noticed because you were too blinkered. NLP shows us how to really expand our awareness so that we can make choices and decisions based on total information and take all of the opportunities that otherwise we might have missed. It's about being flexible in your behaviour. So in order to get what you want in life and get your goals, you need to be ultimately flexible in the way that you behave, the way that you communicate, the way that you feel, what you project out into the world. And NLP teaches you how to do that, how to be ultimately flexible in your behaviour. And of course, because of the NLP communication model, we know that your mind and your body are inextricably connected. So we must operate from a physiology and a psychology of excellence. The two go together. So all of these things together start you on the road towards your success and to getting what you want out of your life. Now let's think about how NLP works. NLP works because all of your learning, all of your behaviour, and all the things that you change in your thinking happens at the unconscious level. And NLP is about communicating with self at the unconscious level so that you can make all the changes that you want to make. When you go to work with other people, work with clients or influence people or negotiate with people or communicate with people, what we're seeking for you to do is to be able to get that communication across to people at the unconscious level. So understanding is complete, and it's exactly the way that you wanted it to be understood. So NLP seeks to integrate our conscious and our unconscious thinking, our conscious and our unconscious minds. And you might have heard those terms, or you might not have. You might have heard the term subconscious mind. Yeah? In NLP, we like to call it unconscious mind, because subconscious suggests that it's a lesser mind than the conscious mind. And quite frankly, the opposite is true. It is a much bigger, more powerful mind than the conscious mind. It holds infinitely more information. It processes at infinite speeds that your conscious mind couldn't even conceive of. So when we work with NLP, we work at the unconscious level, making changes in the unconscious mind. So I'd like to share with you just a little bit about what the unconscious mind is responsible for. The important thing to remember is that your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between something you imagine and something that's real. So think about that. When you're telling yourself all these negative stories about what might happen, your unconscious mind thinks it's real. And so it gives you the emotions and it gives you the behaviour to support that. So your unconscious mind is responsible for storing and organising all of your memories, all of them, right from birth, all of your memories. And of course, you're not consciously aware of them because there just wouldn't be room in your conscious mind for all of those memories. So they're stored nicely and very neatly at the unconscious level. Your unconscious mind runs and preserves your body. So the unconscious mind is simply that part of your mind that you're not consciously aware of right now. There's nothing magical or woo-woo about it. It's just that part that you're not consciously aware of. It's the part that's running your body right now. It's the part that's regulating your breathing, your blood pressure, the way your heart beats, your digestion, everything. It's being run at the unconscious level. Because consider that if you had to think about doing those things, that would be all you could do. You'd literally have to sit in a chair and think about running your body. But we don't need to do that because our unconscious mind does it for us so that we can function in life and do other things and think of other things consciously. Your unconscious mind is very metaphorical and symbolic. As I said, it doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It treats both the same. It's where your emotions come from. We don't consciously create emotional content on a day-to-day basis. Emotions appear and then we become aware of them consciously. They're generated at the unconscious level. Your unconscious mind needs clear orders to follow. It's very literal, and that's why it's important to focus on what you want and be very specific about that. It's a highly moral being. It has values and it holds your beliefs. So there's quite a lot of chatter, isn't there, out there that people can force you to do things with NLP and hypnosis and timeline therapy, and they can manipulate you and they can make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And actually, that just doesn't work because your unconscious mind is a highly moral entity. And nobody can make you do anything that steps on your personal values. So if you've heard that NLP is manipulative or frightening or people can do things to you, disregard it. It's simply not true. Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do or that steps on your values, particularly not with NLP. Your unconscious mind maintains and generates your habits. So all of those behaviours and habits that you have, that's where they're stored and maintained in the unconscious mind. And that's why we need to communicate at the unconscious level in order to remove unwanted habits and behaviours. And your unconscious mind takes everything personally. So everything that your conscious mind says to itself, your unconscious mind thinks you're talking about it. Yeah, think about that. When you're thinking, oh, I don't like them, they're not very nice. Guess what your unconscious mind thinks you're talking about? That's right, you. So be careful what you tell your unconscious mind. The important thing about the unconscious mind is that it doesn't process negatives directly. So consider this, if I was to say, don't think of a blue tree, what's the first thing you think about? Of course, it's a blue tree, because you have to conceive of something consciously in order not to think about it. So think about all the times that you've told somebody what not to do, or somebody's told you what not to do. Actually, all you hear is the thing to do because you don't process the negative directly. So consider that as you go forward. As part of our NLP coach practitioner training, we also have something very unique to the AB NLP school of NLP training, and it's called timeline therapy. And I just wanted to give you an insight into this today, because when you come on the NLP coach practitioner training, you also get certified in the use of timeline therapy. So I just wanted to make you aware of it. Timeline therapy, very briefly, is a process of active imagination that allows us to remove all negative emotion from our past, all limiting decisions from our past, and allows us to create a positive future in such a compelling way that our unconscious mind will chase it. So Timeline therapy is a process of imagination, and it works with a timeline. And there's an illustration of a schematic timeline here. This is what it might look like. And stored along that timeline are all the memories of all the events you've had in your life, some of them being more significant than others. And we call that a gestalt. And by looking at the first event that holds that gestalt together and reframing it in a way that gives something meaning that previously had no meaning, we can collapse down the gestalt. And by doing that, we can collapse down the emotional content of all of the memories in your past. And we work with what we call the big five: anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt. So imagine having a personal history without any of that negative emotion contained within it. You still have the memories, just no negative emotion. And the reason we do this is because all negative emotion that you've had in the past is still stored within your body unless you've dealt with it. So anything that's still incomplete for you is still affecting your energy. So there are waves of negativity coming from the past into now. And it affects you in now, it affects your behaviour. And looking into the future, when you've got negative emotion feeding into now, it affects the choices and decisions that you make for your future. So it follows, doesn't it, that if you take all the negative emotion out from your past and you only have positive emotion left in your personal history, then it's positive emotion that's feeding into now, and that will change the way that you have choices and decisions about your future. So that means you can create your future by making the decisions and choices that are fueled by positivity rather than negativity. I could talk all day about timeline therapy, but obviously we only have limited time here. I just wanted to make you aware that this is part of the NLP coach practitioner training, as is hypnosis. So in the NLP coach practitioner training, you also become certified in hypnosis as a practitioner. And there are so many misconceptions about hypnosis out there, and I'm sure you've heard all of them. So I just want to whiz through some of the truths about hypnosis. And the main thing about hypnosis is that the most intelligent people make the best hypnotic subjects, simply because they can follow instructions and they can create what's being suggested in their minds. So intelligent people make great hypnotic subjects. And hypnosis is all about sharpening your senses. So when you're in an altered state, in hypnosis we call it trance state. So when you're in that altered state, you're actually very aware of everything that's going on around you. Your hearing becomes sharper, what you feel becomes sharper, and you're able to select information with great clarity. So nobody can have you do anything that you wouldn't normally do that steps on your values or your moral code with hypnosis. You are in total control. And the main point behind this is because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It's something that you choose for yourself. So you either choose to enter a trance state or not. So when you hear people saying, oh, I can't be hypnotized, then that's absolutely true. You can't. It's something that you choose for yourself. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And a trance state is just a normal state. It feels very much like you do now if you've got your feet up and you're relaxed and you just sat on the sofa maybe watching this, listening to me. So it's a normal, relaxed state. And the deeper you enter into the trance state, the deeper relaxed you go. And that's all it is, deep relaxation. And it's a state that you can come out of at any time of your choosing. And it's nothing to do with control or brainwashing. Brainwashing is a very specific process and absolutely nothing to do with hypnosis. So you will learn hypnosis in a way that makes it very practical for using on a day-to-day basis. And that surprises some people. It's not just for therapy. You can use hypnosis very productively in coaching. You can use it very, very productively in business. Hypnotic language is used throughout the business world. We just don't know it. So you will learn how to use your language in a way that becomes irresistible to people's unconscious minds. Again, helping you to communicate and become really influential. So I've told you all about where NLP came from and some of the elements around the thinking of NLP. So I hope I've clarified things for you a little bit. So if you feel that you'd like to be certified in NLP, timeline therapy, NLP coaching and hypnosis, when we teach this, we're regulated by 4 different regulating and accrediting bodies. Now, all of these bodies are the biggest and best organised in the world. And that means that your certification carries international recognition. So the American Board of NLP, the Coaching Division of the American Board of NLP, the Timeline Therapy Association, and the American Board of Hypnosis. And all of our Quest for Success Limited trainers and coaches are all certified and regulated by each of these bodies. And we work to their ethical codes at all times. So when can you get certified? When can you do this? Well, here are our trainings in 2017, and the very next one is coming up soon. It's our Athens training, and we do this in 2 parts of 4 days each. The first on the 20th to the 23rd of May, and the second from the 24th to the 27th of June. We also have the training in Manchester, the 8th to the 15th of July, and again, the 2nd to the 9th of December in Manchester. And in those 8 days of training with some pre-study, there's pre-study, so early booking, really important because you need to do a bit of work before you arrive. During the 8 days, you can become fully accredited and certified as an NLP practitioner, an NLP coach, a timeline therapy practitioner, and a hypnosis practitioner. And there's the pricing. You'll notice it's cheaper for our Greek participants because I don't need to charge you the VAT if you're studying in Athens. There's an early booking price and a standard price. So getting registered really early is worth money as well as time. So I'd really encourage you to do that. So every time I do a webinar, I add a little gift, a special offer at the end, just because you've taken your time and energy to listen to me and watch the presentation today, and I really, really appreciate that. So here's a gift for you. If you would like to enroll on an NLP coach practitioner training today, then just a £500 deposit secures your place and your study pack. And we can work out easy payment options that suit you. Or you can pay the whole thing at once and have done with it. The special offer for today is that you will also get a free NLP Techniques demonstration USB worth £150. That has hours and hours of DVD showing you every single NLP technique. It's described and then it's demonstrated for you. And it's a really great resource to have in your pockets. It's on a little USB. You can also claim a further £250 discount, wow, on your training. That's if you get back to me today after the webinar. So if you'd like to contact me, it's very, very easy. You can just call me for a chat, and the number, it's UK number landline, 0845 467 3039, or a UK mobile number 07722 007 204, or you can email an inquiries@qfscoaching.co.uk. And we also have pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, and a Twitter feed and a YouTube channel. And you can see all the details of our trainings and our coaching offerings at allthews.qfscoaching.com. So, does anybody have a quick question that they'd like to ask? Because we're just about out of time. You can use the chat box if you'd like to ask a question quickly, and I will answer it for you right now. Okay, no questions right now. So all that remains is me to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And you've taken the first step on an amazing journey into learning and understanding NLP. And I really hope to welcome you to an NLP Coach Practitioner certification training really soon. And just remember, you are amazing. Grab your empowerment, take action, and get the life you want. So this is Christine from Quest for Success Limited, and I'm wishing you a very, very pleasant evening. Thank you very, very much. It means so much to me that you've joined me this evening, and I hope to meet you soon. So for now, I'd like to say goodbye.